Thank you for the warm intro, and thank you everyone for helping us with this panel. I think this will be an interesting one. Like Anandh was mentioning, so Chen.ai, is that the domain? Yeah. So yeah, I think has been an IT powerhouse, innovation engine, as we discussed in the previous panel. But we also see that Tamil Nadu as an ecosystem, it's becoming a powerhouse in AI, emerging technology, and Web3, right? So what we want to do is we want to explore that conversation, right? Like how, what's happening, and what are the use cases that we are seeing, and how the ecosystem is being fostered by giving the opportunities and everything. So I'll start with David first. David, I don't want to reveal your age, but you've been, working in this Chennai tech evolution since at least 3 decades, I'm guessing. So, what are the key shifts you have seen in when the traditional IT was evolving, and right now when everybody is talking AI and emerging technologies?
Yeah, that's quite a. If I really look back, I think just like nobody expected IT to have such a impact on our daily lives, and the way that IT as an industry has taken off, especially in India, with the Indian mindset to really perform and innovate. I think there have been fantastic contributions, whether based in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, or even globally. So we have seen global leaders, both individuals as well as companies that have come out of this region. And what I especially do find is we are in the second or third such transition that is happening, or transformation that is happening, and it's really exciting when you look back. Actually, things were very slow, 20 years back, but the pace of things have really increased to such an extent. It's mind-boggling today with the kind of talent and the kind of opportunity and the government support. All of this, I think, is playing as we look at India coming to the forefront.
Okay, interesting. Senthil, about the support and ecosystem that is being developed here, given that opportunities, and I think you have played a central role in growing Tamil Nadu into one of the India's largest IT clusters, right? So what's fueling Chennai's rise in AI and Web3 nowadays?
Good evening, one and all, and thank you so much, Kushal, Binance, and Manoj from TICE for giving us this opportunity. Of course, my name is Senthil Kumar, and I'm part of the NASSCOM Center of Excellence. So, to most of you been knowing NASSCOM, some of you not been knowing, NASSCOM has been an IT industry body for the last 40 years. Started in 1988 with about 38 member company. Today, we have close to more than 3,500 members across the country. And the NASSCOM Center of Excellence is an initiative started 9 years back as a PPP model, and started by MeitY, central government, with the support of 4 of the state governments, government of Karnataka, Gujarat, Haryana, and Andhra Pradesh. So we have 4 innovation labs across these locations, which is housing close to about 200 plus startups. Plus we also have close to about 1,000 plus startups working as an acceleration for the support through incubation, mentorship, funding, and various other support on that. When it comes to Chennai, of course, I've been with the industry body for the last 18 years of our time. So I've always seen various companies in this area, being today's Zoho, that day it was AdventNet Corp. And I've always seen many other organizations also from the startup stage to how they have grown. Of course, another organization is Unifor. Another few more organizations are also there. There are organizations which may not be a unicorn or a sunicorn, but they have actually done wonders in terms of creating a good number of employment and revenue generation opportunities in the state, creating more and more GDP value to the country. So when it comes to the newer emerging technologies, as part of the NASSCOM COE, We work with quite a lot of deep tech startups. All our innovation labs are structured with hardware and software combined startups, be it the AI, IoT, 3D printing, cybersecurity, AR, VR, and many other technologies on that. So when it comes to Chennai, we started an initiative called 10,000 Startups way back in 2015. We reached close to about some 1,000 plus startups over here. We supported them on that. So then it came to be the part of NASSCOM's Startup TN, then the IT and T Hub, and many other initiatives on that. The current level of initiatives that we closely work with them, with some of the interesting aspects are with the IIT Madras, which is called the Nirman Startup Program. So the Nirman Startup Program is basically the student startups which come out with innovative ideas, and we give them the access to POC, we give them the access to Industry Connect, Mentorship Connect, and various other opportunities on that. It's not only IIT Madras, but also there are quite a lot of other engaging universities and institutions who are part of this on that. So likewise, as I mentioned, the deep technologies part, we are covering it very well with many other industries, especially in the manufacturing, healthcare, allied industries, logistics, and pharma. So there are quite a lot of startups who engage with us. What we do at COE is engage with the startups, understand the use cases from the enterprises and corporates, and match these startup solutions with the corporates. These are startups which come out with affordable solutions. So there is a vast challenge that we also have in the MSME sector, especially on that, where they feel, okay, the cost that has been provided by these organizations especially from the services organization was quite high. So that is actually like overtaken by the startup organization, and I'm sure like panelists will cover a lot on that. So when it comes to the frontier technology, Chennai is not behind or anything. We are far, far ahead with the kind of organization that we are here. And we are closely working with many startups and many organizations in this arena. Thank you.
Thank you, Senthil. So before we move to Deepankar, like I just want to mention like few things like which we did in Vizag and Ahmedabad. So there was like one company and on the panelist, I think. So he was utilizing like blockchain for optimizing his shrimp business operations. And there was like one lady in Ahmedabad who was again using blockchain technology to optimize her like supply chain related optimizations. So what we see is like, what I'm amazed to see here is it's not just the utilities that we see from the pure fintech side when we are looking into a Web3 project. Here in India, like what we are seeing, entrepreneurs like taking this technology and applying it to something which is like very like normal looking thing, but it helps the business in such an amazing way that it becomes like a foundation and a playbook that other industries can apply. So with that background, so just moving to Deepankar ji here. Again, you have a very rich background in manufacturing and technology. And how are you seeing the industry 5.0, 4.0? I don't know when it crossed, but we are already in the 5.0 zone now. So how do you see that adoption happening in your industry?
Thanks very much, Kushal. First, a bit about myself. I have a close to 4 decades of experience in manufacturing, consulting, and technology. And I have worked on shop floors, then moved on to management consulting, and now I run DG2O, which helps manufacturing companies to profit from their connected machines. Our current mission is that in the next 5 years, we want to help 500 factories in India to be profitable using technologies such as AI and deep tech. That said, and as Senthil was saying, how Chennai and Tamil Nadu is progressing in this area, just a bit of that as well before I come to Kushal's question. If you think Bangalore as the software capital of India, Chennai is definitely the deep tech lab of India. You can call it that, simply because it has the manufacturing ecosystem along with the technological ecosystem as well. So that makes it really, and we are seeing a lot of startups growing in this area as well, through the support from institutes such as IIT Madras and IIT Madras Research Park, etc., etc. Now, coming back to the original question from Kushal with regard to how you know manufacturing companies are taking to Industry 5.0. Now, it's we understand what Industry 5.0 is as in comparison to Industry 4.0. And in my view, it's not really about choosing AI or deep tech or human beings. It's all about designing factories where both mesh together and complement each other. So that's the key point that we need to look into. Now, let me explain this a bit. Automation helped us to remove all the, or is helping us to remove all the repetitive tasks that the human beings are doing. Things like robotics are helping us in that. Now, Toyota's automation, or Jidoka, has taken this a bit further. And what it does is that their machines actually, whenever they detect a problem, they stop so that the problem does not persist. And then the human intervention comes, the human expertise comes to make decisions with regard to the problem. So essentially what we are trying to say here is that Industry 5.0, where both human beings as well as deep tech or AI and robotics work together to come up with the real solutions. Now, the question is not really a shop floor question as far as I'm concerned. It is more of a boardroom question. The reason I'm saying that is, when you decide, let me ask you a question. If you are going to decide that you're going to make a smart factory today, so how are you going to design it? How are you going to go about it? Are you going to just connect sensors and machines together and get data out of them like we do in Industry 4.0? Or you're actually also going to take the human expertise, the human intuition, and the ethical oversight that the human being brings in, and then mesh them together to come up with a better solution. So that is the question that we need to ask when we are designing these kind of solutions. Now, in Chennai, we have companies which are actually doing that. For instance, DeepTech Technologies, they are using AI to make industry safe. But all the results that the AI gives is actually used by the safety officers to ensure that the right decisions are taken. Similarly, Planis Technology is doing, they're all from IIT Research Park, is actually putting robots inside the water in order to detect defects within engineering structures such as pipelines and bridges. But it is the human engineers who are actually making the decisions with regard to whether to repair, whether to restore, or whether to leave it like that. So it's the decision that they are taking. So this is exactly what Industry 5.0 in action is, where human being, AI or deep tech is actually a co-pilot, whereas your human being brings the decision-making prowess. And let me tell you that this design, when you start making a smart factory, the design that you think of where you mesh human intelligence and ethical oversight along with deep tech, the companies who do this and get this strategy right are actually going to, make the next chapter of smart factories history.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think, see, from what I understood there, like at least like takeaway from the blockchain and Web3 industry from here would be that like the 5.0 version that Deepankar is talking about, is that okay? You can take this into building your agent, like agentic AIs, and then how can we tokenize all these things, right? So that should be how we can see from the Web3 development point of view. Yes, I think it's an immense opportunity of merging that human intel and the AI, but also how can we make sure we build it at a global scale, and that can come from the agentic AI side, right? So we need to build those AI agents and how do we monetize all that is through our Web3 technology that we can use here. So talking about the global scale, like David, like coming back to you. Again, with your experience from the Cloudmon Global, and maybe you can share a little bit about that too. How can like emerging tech like founders and entrepreneurs, achieve global scale from here?
Yeah, I don't know, there may be possibly a few who are aspiring to, or maybe startups in this space looking at it. But from my experience and from what I've seen, I think one of the key, let me say the four top points to keep in mind. One would be in terms of making sure you have the right team. Typically as technology people, we tend to have a great level of confidence in what we can do, but getting products to the market and really getting it to be a global success story requires far beyond. I mean, it requires a team that kind of, you need a complement of not just technology, but marketing and other functions. So it needs a kind of a better understanding or a willingness to have a team that can really help to take it to the next level. So it may be you need people with international experience, maybe with specific geographies, people who understand the market. So you also need to bring a right board or a technology advisory board that can guide you through these, who have already been through this, and they can guide you through that process. So I think that's the first most important thing. The second is, of course, the funding part, especially in, with so much uncertainty that is happening globally. If you were to invest in deep tech, it requires far beyond, it's not going to be an easy, it's a marathon. So you need to be able to really have deep pockets. And so seeking the right investors and the funding is going to be very important to survive and to really make a difference, because otherwise the founders are going to be focusing on getting the next month's salary and other considerations. So funding becomes very important, and choosing the right investors who would go with you and provide you the networks becomes important. Third is, I think, the understanding of, again, what the customer really needs. We can build great products and solutions, but unless customers are willing to take it, pay for it, it's not really going to really help you to scale. So we need to really understand what the customer wants. And one of the problems with many technologies is they don't really go and meet customers. And I find that is a very key aspect of understanding the customer behavior, being able to understand what the customer's real pain points are, and then tweak the product or make the product in a way that really meets their needs. So if you think of global, you need to really think it through 10, 20 steps ahead to understand what the global marketplace really needs. So for instance, even when we were looking at a product to develop, it's not just what customers in India would see very differently, that same thing. It's that same technical solution, but the way you position it is so different. So being willing to go the distance, being with the customers, having people, the talent in your team that would understand and be able to give you that kind of rich variety, that becomes very important. And the fourth is, I think, the culture. It needs to be, if you're building a global company, you need to really think of a company that is for the long term. It needs to be very strong culture that would ensure you have good level of not just the work ethics, but also the way that you can expect the way that people can sorry, my throat. Yeah. So where was I? I missed my culture. Culture is such an important, where you need to set the right responsibility and the accountability. If you can find the people who can really take it there, I think that becomes important. So these are the four areas I see is very important. If you're looking at global scale, you need to build a company and a culture that really can last. And it's not always that you need to look internally, right? You need to be able to partner with the right ecosystem. You need to have the right kind of partners in multiple areas. So all these become important. It's not just about the technology. It's not just about the customers. It's all these areas that need to fire together. Yeah.
Super valuable. Thank you. Senthil, going for closing remarks from you, you mentioned about, examples like Zoho and everything. So two-part question, like, are there any other success stories that you are seeing like emerging now? And if any of the Web3 developers and ecosystem players that we have here and in the state, if they want help from you and from the COE, what should they do? How should they approach you?
Yeah, I think success stories are predominantly a lot more are there. As I mentioned, it could be a few years before Zoho or Freshdesk. There are quite a lot of success stories or keep coming up with the IIT Madras startups, and other startups are also there on that. We have a wish list of startups which is part of our COE also, who have been really done and taken to the global level on that. Especially from the COE part, what we really help them is on the enterprise co-creation programs, startup enterprise co-creation program, lab to market access program. Then we have the government startup collaboration program. Then we have the enterprises and corporates innovation challenges focused towards manufacturing innovation challenges, healthcare innovation challenges, mobility innovation challenges, and many other sort of innovation challenges when it comes to various technologies on AI, Web3, and all other technologies. People come part of some of the real world use cases, try to address these use cases on that. When the corporates, or especially from the Fortune 500 organizations who are partners with us, they come and share quite a lot of use cases. We have partners, organizations like AstraZeneca, ABB, Baxter, GE, Siemens Healthineers, Skoda, and many other organizations. Recently, we partnered with many organizations like Panasonic and Carlon, and many organizations that we have been partnered with the COE. They all come out with quite a lot of use cases. Even we have the partners L'Oreal. From the biotechnology aspect also, we get a lot of use cases on that. But when only very, very specific startups or only particular SME companies are able to solve those specific use cases. And when we try to reach those kind of companies, they don't even understand how do they want to actually collaborate with us. So we have this collaborative models as part of our Center of Excellence, as part of the other ecosystem which is prevailing in the state of Tamil Nadu on that, especially IIT Madras or ITNT and all other acceleration support which has been available. So you have to come forward to be utilizing these kind of support. And moreover, another one of the major support that these startups are actually required is they need value for their product. They need value for the cost that they've been able to spend. They need, first of all, opportunity to be given in these companies. And that's when we had an interaction with Professor Kamakudi at IIT Madras, he insisted us, how NASSCOM or the NASSCOM Center of Excellence can give opportunity to the startups, give them the first pivot to be given to them so that they could be able to go out with that, establish themselves at the next set of startups on that. So we are trying to provide all the sort of a support, and their products or their cost is not really valued at India market. So that is something, a fundamental challenge that they are going through, that has to come, that has to actually get sorted out. And I'm sure with the kind of restrictions the global market is coming up, the India market opportunities will open up wide doors for them and make sure the startups will grow to the next level. We are really looking forward to see quite a lot of unicorns and sunicorns coming up from this part of the region. And we are there to support you and help you on that, count our support. We have done great support with some of these startups which are in the logistics, which are in the manufacturing space, which are in the healthcare space. please look at our NASSCOM COE website also. You will know how you can collaborate with us. Of course, specific towards BFSI, specific towards blockchain, specific towards cyber security. We have quite a lot of things that how you can come forward, engage with us on that. Use our platform, use our connects to build your startups, build your products to the next level on it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Senthil, and thank you, David. Thank you, Deepankar. I think I'm hoping there are some good ideas coming up from here, and you might be able to think about some RWA applications here. So if you have any other thoughts, so feel free to come and talk to us after the panel. I will be more than happy to help.
So a bit of background, I am a second year BTech student and I run a national level student innovation acceleration program. So we take ideas, give them resources, help them make startups for free. So a lot of students come up to us saying, what problem should I solve so that, what gaps, as Manoj sir said, an entrepreneur solves gaps and makes startups on those. So what gaps should I solve, which, Binance might be facing or Digi20 might be facing, so that Binance is not ready, willing to hire me, but rather they are willing to work with my startup. They are willing to acquire my startup. So I would like to pose this question to all the members of the panel. Please quote some gaps which you guys are facing yourself, which if startups from all over India can work upon, then you guys would be willing to work with these startups. And as Senthil sir said, you guys would be willing to give their first PO to these startups.
Senthil, maybe
I think you nailed the right requirement over here with the entrepreneurs. That's what we are trying to do it. When it comes to NASSCOM COE, we front end on behalf of the startups, right? Startups always have quite a lot of challenges. They start their organization and after a year they spin off their product as a separate company, or they might think, okay, I'm not really able to meet the market expectations, or I need to have the right sort of a funding, I need to have the right sort of a mentorship, or the access to market support is there. So we, on behalf of this platform, and we connect with the startups to understand all this sort of a support. That is where we were given the tough opportunity by IIT Madras, Professor Kamakodi sir. Why can't you actually help us on that? So that's where we came into, and we did a big demo day for them in the last year, and it was so successful to bring close to 60 plus corporates into their campus. So I think those opportunities has to be utilized by every other universities, every other colleges, or be it the innovation hubs also on that, because it's not really easy. Of course, Deepankar ji had 40 years of experience, and I just go through LinkedIn posts he shares about Industry 4.0, smart manufacturing, mind-blowing information. It's not just sitting here, I am saying, abundant information on that. So you actually have to connect with various on that. The best part of NASSCOM COE is, we don't charge any equity. We don't charge any equity. So that's the best part on that. We make sure we give the extended opportunity in all part of our program, be it the space support, be it the industry connect support, be it the global market opportunity support. So that is something we are able to actually provide them on that. And when we named 10,000 startups, we reached the 10,000 startups before 2020, and now it's just NASSCOM startups. And so we've been here to help startups, and the growth of this sector has really, really grown high. And that's one of the reason in 2016, when we came out with this initiative of NASSCOM Center of Excellence, which is called the innovation arm for NASSCOM, predominantly here to support the analog industries to convert to digital industries. So the opportunity is there. All the MSME organizations who are there into, especially in the manufacturing automobile, should look at utilizing the technology on that. So these are some of the areas that you could collaborate and establish your startups. Thank you.
Yeah, check. Yeah, I think it's like Senthil said, is really, unless it's a very large company, we won't have the bandwidth to really engage with different people. But we are open always to look at specific forums. Like NASSCOM is a great forum. other ways to network, and then, we can kind of narrow down on potential opportunities that exist. So, yeah, we are always looking for fresh blood. We're looking for fresh talent. We're looking for new ideas. So what you said is a great problem, but I think we need intermediaries who help to, bridge the gap. And I think NASSCOM, and there may be other groups like that. So I think you also need to interact with these various groups in order to be able to find the right kind of companies that would fit in your capabilities and so forth. Yeah.
Deepankar?
Yeah, actually, you're a student, and DG2 actually has worked with students a couple of times in building solutions for companies such as Indian Oil and things like that. We have worked with IIT DM, for instance. We have worked with Vistas in Pallavaram. So, and why do we work? Because there are certain skills that are available with you, perhaps we do not have, because we are also a small company. We are a startup company, right? And that's how those kind of collaborations can happen. So get in touch with people like us. And as Senthil mentioned, LinkedIn is a great platform to do that. And then you say that what you can do, and we can see whether we have the requirement, and then we can match up. That's for my company. It could be for some other company as well. So that's the advice I would provide.
Sure, sir. Yeah, so from my side, see, again, we are not in the business of, providing any financial advice. So I don't think it's our job. But I was talking to a couple of investment advisors who advise in the traditional finance sector. So just a couple of days ago in Mumbai. So one of the gaps that they mentioned is that, okay, there are like lots of like advisory tools and they have access to research reports and everything on the traditional investment portfolio sides, on equity, mutual funds, etc., etc. But there are not many things in the crypto side of things. So in the digital assets, so people see so much, and the irony here is it is so transparent. Everything you can get, like, with like whatever access you can get it immediately, but they don't have the tools to make the decision. So if you have any ideas and if you have amazing data scientists with you, I would highly recommend to work on this problem. This is a problem which 200, 300 million investors in India do have now. So open for the builders to build this. Okay, yeah. Thank you panelists, and thanks for the amazing question.